Welcome to Country Fried Rock, where we talk with musicians to find out what inspires their creativity. Country Fried Rock, music uncovered. Welcome to Country Fried Rock. I'm your host, Sloan Spencer. This week on Country Fried Rock, we talk with Justin Stang of the Seattle band Science, with an exclamation point. Can't look at that word without imitating the Thomas Dolby song. The band, however, brings in a variety of the roots of the music they enjoy. In the midst of their first multi-week cross-country tour, the duo Science probably has been coming to a town near you. We started out being a little goofy about the band's name. Honestly, I was so taken, just the exclamation point alone was enough to have me all Thomas Dolby'd up.
Exactly. Pretty much the same response we get from everybody, which is great.
The visual on your album cover, did you all superimpose that, or is that actually what that building had?
So that's a great story. We actually just got a chance to drive past it. A friend of mine took that photograph. It's actually a photograph. We obviously photoshopped in Science where the original call letters are for the radio. So it's a former World War II, post-World War II radio station.
Wow.
That's long since been retired. I had sort of made the rest of the landscape out in my brain as to what it would look like around the building. And when I got there, I was like, this is unbelievable. The fact that our friend George was able to capture that picture the way it was and lead you down a path where you think it looks like something completely different. But ultimately, what he told me was that, when you're driving down the road and you see a really cool landscape and you stop to take a picture and you look at the picture, you're automatically saying to yourself, that's not what it looked like at all. So what he did was he put a number of filters on his camera to try to closely mimic the human eyeball, because I guess the human eye is a little more capable than the camera lens. It does have a little bit on there, but ultimately that's when he was driving by, that's what he saw and kind of why he stopped to try to capture it as best he could. And it's a cool building. It
looks great. I'm like, I want to live there.
Yeah. We joked around. We stopped by to take some pictures when we drove past it. That was kind of the consensus is, you think it's for sale, and should we try to get a house going here in Livingston, Montana? It still has a tower of sorts, certainly definitely for the time frame, it certainly wouldn't work on modern stuff. Kind of neat to see the old radio station.
How did Science get together as a musical group?
Well, Jim Elenteni, who's like the primary guitarist and one of my best friends, is the other half of the duo. Him and I went to high school together many years back in New York on the East Coast. After high school, we sort of lost touch and did our own things, and I moved out to the Pacific Northwest maybe 8 years ago. And he moved out 3 years ago, and thanks to the wonderful folks in social media, when he moved out, he was able to say, hey, I know somebody that lives out there. At the time, I was playing in a rock band, and he had just started, when he moved to Seattle, started up playing with a jam outfit. And so we just got together to mess around with playing a little bit of music and just hang out, because we hadn't seen each other in quite a long time. The natural progression of that was we found an outlet in that setting for the music that didn't fit our, I'd have an acoustic song or a country song or a song that wouldn't fit, that I'd written that wouldn't fit the rock format. And he had a lot of the same stuff that didn't fit into his current project. And eventually, side project gained more and more steam and took up more and more of our time and became the central focal point. And now two of us are only playing in Science.
What's the real story of how the name came around?
So we're big fans of Back to the Future, and we really wanted a Back to the Future band name. But every time we, did an internet search or tried to find band, you come up with any band name you want from Back to the Future and then search it on the internet. Pretty much the band already exists.
Yeah.
We tried Flux Capacitor and, Hill Valley Lightning Strike and the Doc Brown Band. And I think DeLorean is even a band name now. There was like Under the Sea Enchantment Dance Band and, just everything. So we were like, okay, we want something that's going to represent our music sort of abstractly. So, we went with something that we thought was like simple, honest, truthful, easy to remember, and that's the way we like to think of our music and songwriting. A quick side note being that I think what really sold it is that Jim teaches a lot of guitar lessons, and he had a student that at one point had described him as a musical scientist.
Awesome.
Because of his technique and precision and his approach to not only how he plays, but how he teaches. For us, that it all kind of came full circle, and the exclamation point just made it a lot more fun to say.
You all play quite a bit as an acoustic duo.
Yeah, so primarily, we're exclusively, for the most part, I'd say 95% of the time we play as an acoustic duo. We had wanted, when we made the album, to have it be, because we've recorded some stuff that's just the two of us, and we plan on continuing that format. But at the same time, we love full band sound, and we have the luxury, with Jim being a multi-instrumentalist, to have him play just about everything on there that we could want to put in, with the exception of drums. And so for a lot of our recorded music, we like to gear up towards that stuff. And we're working on a format now where we can play just about any setting. We've got a big festival gig coming up, and we're going to have a rhythm section for that. It's great versatility to have the ability to say, hey, we're going to do a coffee shop show at Saturday morning with just the two of us, or hey, we're going to do if fate would have it, a big arena on Saturday night, and be able to cover everything in between.
Country Fried Rock is proud to announce our second compilation to raise funds and awareness for musicians' mental health services. You can help keep music alive. Check it out at countryfriedrock.bandcamp.com. All of the proceeds raised go directly to the model program for community-based mental health services, reaching the musician community of Athens, Georgia. Born of tragedy, but making a difference for people right now. Prevent musician suicide. You know an organization makes a difference when people like this step up to the plate and donate songs. We thank them, and we thank you for your generous contributions to preventing musician suicide. Keep music alive.
Hi, this is Justin Stang from Science on Country Fried Rock.
How did you all hook up with Glenn Graham?
So, oddly enough, when we came into the time frame where we were going to be recording, we were kicking around different ideas. I knew a few local drummers. He knew a few local drummers. And I just came across this job wanted ad from Glenn. I was like, Glenn Graham needs a job. And I was like, really? I was kind of surprised. So I came across an ad and I sent him an email and then forwarded him links to our music. And I was really surprised he got back and he said, I like the music and it's the kind of music I like to record. Let's do it. And so he's out your way in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So we sent all of the files for a little while ahead of time so that he could play along at home and figure out what he wanted to record on the album there. And then we just booked him. We booked a session for him at the studio in North Carolina there, which oddly enough was where Jim had lived previously. So he was familiar with the studio and the sound engineer, and that was really neat to say, hey, I know those guys. They do great work. So Overdub Lane in Durham, I believe. Yeah, which I guess is right where Glenn's at these days. Yeah, so it was really neat. Like the world got super small really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And then since then we picked up a number of Blind Melon fans that are familiar with Glenn's work, and they have an incredible fan base that really follows that band religiously. No matter whatever it is they're doing on the side, whether it's art or photography or music and so that's been really neat. Our last tour poster and a number of other things were done by someone that we had met through that connection.
That's cool.
They said, I'm a Blind Melon fan. I really like your stuff. Can I draw you guys a T-shirt design? And we were like, of course.
That's crazy. So he just did the drum tracks there.
Exactly.
And then how did you get all that mixed?
We sent it all to them. They recorded it all and then sent it back. And then Jim mixed it all here. And he had to use a couple of tricks in the mixing process because obviously they used sort of a different recording process than we did. We were able to mix it here in Seattle and then master it in Seattle as well at RFI. Some favorite Rick Fisher over at RFI in Seattle. They do some great stuff too. And so we were able to go in there and get it all to kind of work out. It's a very relieving feeling when you have a plan like that and it all comes together.
Yeah.
It's really interesting too that we get everything from fans that are like, man, I really love when you play that song with just the two guitars right through. I really love that album version of that song where it's got, crazy, funky keyboards on it. And that's really neat. I mean, it keeps things interesting for us, and I think it keeps things interesting for the listener. You can set your watch by what you're going to get, but the method of delivery might be a little bit different.
When I first went and listened to this record, two things caught me. The first song about Seattle is hilarious.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, and funny thing is I've been taking a lot of flack lately about the Starbucks.
Really?
This little Starbucks comment. And once I explain it, it seems to make more sense to folks. We're fans of Starbucks, and I drink their coffee all the time. It's kind of hard to escape it when you're out here.
Right.
There's just coffee everywhere, and you'll drink whatever coffee is closest. But that was always designed to be a Supersonics reference. A lot of that song is written from the perspective of not only our perspective, but perspective of like funny stereotypical people here. And certainly, and I'd fall into that agreement category, like that Supersonics thing. That was a little rough for the town. So that was always like, what do you mean you don't like coffee? It's like, well, I love coffee, and their coffee's okay, one of those funny things. But a lot of that song, it kind of flowed. Jim brought me a basic template where he had the chorus and a lot of the music, and then I just put in a whole bunch of good suppose.
Is that how y'all tend to work together?
No, actually, I think every song that we've done has been a little different, which is really a lot of fun, but difficult to predict. So sometimes we'll have great periods of time where tons of material is getting developed or written, and then there are other times where we've got 2 or 3 things kind of on the back burner. No, we don't have a sound approach. Sometimes we'll start from scratch, just the two of us sitting together. I primarily tend to be the lyrics, words-oriented person, and Jim's definitely the music-oriented person. So I think we have a great, complementing style. A lot of times he'll come in with a piece of music and say, I'm kind of struggling with this lyric here or this lyric there, and I'll do the same thing with I've got this bit of music, but I'm really struggling on a bridge or on a bigger chorus, and so it's great to have that person that has the other half of the brain to sort of help you finish the thought that you were making. A lot of times, when Jim will help finish a musical part that I'm like, that's what was in my head. I just couldn't get it to my hands, and he's been able to interpret my language and figure it out for me.
Right. Well, y'all are getting ready to go on an enormous fall tour.
Yeah,
I guess August through fall.
Yeah, so we just got back from 5 weeks on the road, and we're home for just a couple of days, and the cards or dominoes sort of fell right into place to head right back out. So all said and done, it's going to be 10 or 11 weeks, I think, in total, which is great.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're going all the way here to the East Coast.
Again, for the second time this summer. Yeah, which is really exciting. And there's a number of places that we've never been before on this next round of calendar dates, so we're really excited part of this first summer tour was we hadn't done a big tour. We had done a few regional tours in the Northwest and a few West Coast tours, and we've got a lot of family and friends, obviously, on the East Coast, and there was a lot of, when are you guys coming over here? And we, so we're finally able to make it all happen, and now we're lucky enough to get to go back again.
That's cool. Well, yeah, you're hitting a lot of venues that are not only in my neck of the woods, but places that are just great music spots. Yeah,
I mean, I was really blown away. I mean, there's some legendary spots. I'm really, really flattered and feel super honored to, to get an opportunity to get to play at Eddie's Attic and at Jam and Java and a lot of places like that, where just about every musician I've ever loved has gone through a number of these exact venues. Mm-hmm. So it's really exciting as a music fan, let alone somebody that gets to play.
Yeah. Never miss a radio show from Country Fried Rock. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. Just search Country Fried Rock.
You're listening to Justin from Science on Country Fried Rock, and you can get our music at scienceseattle.com.
So what do y'all listen to?
We decided that we have to change the CDs in the band van after the last trip, because we were starting to get through. We were like, we won't listen to everything on here, will we? But Jim and I, we both love a lot of jam music. We listen to a lot of Fish, a lot of Grateful Dead, a lot of Allman Brothers. But we got a broad range. We had Stevie Wonder going, and the Talking Heads were definitely in there. And we listened to a lot of guitar stuff, so we love Jimi Hendrix. Never seemed to get enough of that. But most of this previous tour was dominated by Fillmore East concerts.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of Allman Brothers and Jimi Hendrix from those old Fillmore East days.
Mm-hmm.
But those are, that's just like classic, legendary, staple kind of stuff to put in and help you get driving down the road.
This whole upcoming tour is not a solo tour. Y'all are on the bill with a couple other bands at some point. Is that right?
Yeah, so the way this sort of worked out, we were playing in Brooklyn, and we got an excellent little review. A blog called Brooklyn Bass made us their acoustic concert of the week.
Cool.
And that was really neat. I'm still trying to figure out how they got a hold of our music, or maybe they were just surfing through the show calendar and checked it out. But it was really great little write-up. And we got a call from a band manager for a fellow named Adam Zwig, who's going on this tour. And he said, we really like your stuff. We want to get you on some of these dates, and we've been working with them ever since, trying to figure out how we can make it all work logistically with their schedule and our schedule, and so we're super excited to go out on the road and lend support for Adam's tour, and see his show, and get to meet all those guys. So it'd be really, really, really exciting stuff. At times too, there's a couple of gaps in the schedule where we tried to fill in a couple other dates whenever we could with some venues we played before, or some places that we really enjoy stopping by, And so we're going to stop by the Center of Harmony in Pennsylvania. There's actually a place called Harmony, Pennsylvania, and it is very, very harmonious. There are some great, great people there. So we're really excited to fit that into that worked, that we had an extra day off right about the time we were swinging through Pittsburgh. We're real hardworking. We're sort of buck the stereotypical band. Like, we're super punctual. We wake up really early. We love to drive really long distances, and so we just love that. I feel like if you hang your hat on the merits of being at least road warrior tested. And so for us, it was like, we've always said our sort of band philosophy has been like, to just kind of say yes to everything. And so that was pretty much it. We definitely, we got a chance in Brooklyn to play with some great Brooklyn acts. A lot of the national touring stuff for independent music is trying to hook up and find local support and great bands in each little market that you can try to put something together to have a great night for the venue and for the bands.
Did you know you can download each podcast for free? Just scroll down to the bottom of the page on countryfriedrock.org.
Hi, this is Justin Stang from Science on Country Fried Rock.
You said you were getting ready to put some new music in the tour van. What's on the deck?
Knowing Jim, there'll be a number of live fish shows that weren't already, and it'll just change the Rolodex. A number of different ones, but I'd like to go like completely blind. If you have any recommendations, like not only bands, maybe bands that I've heard of, but bands I haven't listened to a great deal. I think that'd be really neat to find someone that I trust and say, all right, give me 10 CDs. Don't even tell me what they are. Uh-huh. We'll just put them in, and hopefully, that they have this similar taste in music, and you don't like go surfing through them really, really quickly. Like, oh, no, next. So if you make it through the CD, it passes the bar.
What are you most looking forward to with this upcoming trip?
So this trip is kind of crazy. We're going to leave, and we do four dates. We leave Seattle, and we do 4 dates to Denver, and then we're going to get on a plane and fly back to Seattle. So we're playing the main stage at Seattle Hemp Fest this year.
Ooh, fun!
Which is going to be, it's like the largest free speech rally in the world, and this year is a very special year in Washington Hemp Fest based on our previous year's election. So
right.
we're really excited that we're not only playing, but we're going to be playing on the main stage, and we're playing on the main stage with a full band.
Fun!
So we're really excited for that part. So we're going to do 4 dates, fly back to Seattle, and then fly back to the tour. So we're going to miss a couple shows in the middle part of the beginning. It's for good reason, and so we're working on the full band stuff. Although I heard that our bass player just broke his ankle, so things are getting a little hectic. But he has maintained that he'll be just fine. I'm really excited. Boston is on this tour, and having grown up in the suburbs of New York City, and I went to school in Rhode Island, so I've got a lot of friends still in the area, and it's the first time I've ever had a chance, or that Science has ever had a chance even to play in Boston. So that's pretty exciting.
What's going on in the Seattle music scene lately that you all enjoy?
Seattle's it's an interesting town because there's so much going on all the time of so many different kinds of music. I was blown away. We did a radio interview last fall, and we got double booked with Lee Oskar, the harmonica player from War, and it was like one of those strange things where you're like, Lee Oskar lives in Seattle? Apparently he does. And so he invited us to his show the next day at the Highway 99 Blues Club.
Cool.
And so there's a really vibrant blues and jazz, between Jazz Alley and Highway 99 Blues Club. There's like really vibrant blues and jazz. Obviously Macklemore right now is one of the biggest musicians going, and it's really strange to see, an independent sort of very Seattle focused musician have that kind of success. It's actually really encouraging for most independent musicians, but certainly any of us from Seattle to see that rise has been like really, really exciting. And we just had a great story the other day. The fellow that sings one of his choruses is a great singer-songwriter from the area named Michael Wansley, and he stepped in for different friends at times and played bass, going back. So it's great to see those guys doing really well.
Cool.
I think the same can be said for Alan Stone.
Oh yeah.
He's one of those guys that one day he was here, and the next day the Stratosphere. There's a great funk band called Down North that's kind of doing a lot of the same stuff. They're going to be playing Bumbershoot this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of great music. It's definitely tough. It's a lot like I'd compare it to Portland or San Francisco or Los Angeles, in that there are a lot of venues and there are a lot of bands, and so it gets it gets tricky to try to get enough people out to all of the shows. On a Tuesday night in Seattle, there's 15, 16 different shows going on, and all of them, I'm sure, have their place in greatness. It's hard enough to go out and watch shows, trying to get people to yours as opposed to all the other things they have going on, and then add in summertime. But I think that's, in the world of independent music, that's starting to become more normal, I think, in a lot of different cities, that there's just always lots and lots of music everybody's playing. To keep up with the latest and greatest science news and music, tour dates, and more, you can find it at ScienceSeattle.com.
Well, so what's working for you all with this new record?
Well, we're actually, I'd say, 60% done with the next one as well, which we're hoping to have out this fall.
Update me on this.
Oh, yeah. So we've got 10 songs tracked out, and a lot of the arranging and the meat and potatoes, if you will, is done. And we're working on adding tracks and polishing up some things. And the tough part about recording is that the more Jim's the other half of the science duo is our recording technician, our sound engineer, our audio expert. He's our basically everything.
Right.
So the more time we spend on the road, the less time he has to work on it. So the plan was, now that we're back, have him get started and have us be working on this so that we could have it out. And we're still going to try to have it out before the end of the year, but it's going to be a little delayed now because it's almost impossible to work from the road. Are
you planning to do anything different with this one?
Yes. It'll have a different sound, but I think it'll going to be uniquely science. I think that there isn't too much I can sing or that Jim can do on the guitar that wouldn't make it pretty identifiable. That's Justin and Jim. But we always joke around. People always say, what's your favorite song that you've written? And it's always whatever the newest one is. So I'm really excited about a lot of the material. I think you can definitely see growth in terms of our approach and our songwriting. And so I think a lot of the stuff's a little more developed. But for us, it's just fun. We just like writing and we like playing shows. So that last album, there are different elements of funk and elements of country and elements of reggae. And I think this album will have a lot of the same. There'll be some straight-ahead blues stuff and there'll be some straight-ahead rock stuff and definitely some folk stuff. So we're going to try to mix in all of our different styles and interests and loves. And
are you testing these songs on the road?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've been playing these this summer and we'll continue to play them. A lot of them have a great spot. And it's really been a lot of fun to see how they do stacked up with songs everybody's far more familiar with from the previous recording. And that's been neat. But for the most part, this entire summer trip is a lot of our introduction to most people, town to town, door to door, trying to make one fan at a time.
Safe travels to you all on this upcoming run.
Thank you very much. We've been, knock on wood, we've been really fortunate to have no road problems whatsoever, but we're exceptionally cautious and we try to plan everything out just right. So
check your tires and change your oil.
Yeah, exactly. So the van is getting a much needed break right now, and then it's headed in for some big time maintenance, and then we'll be back out there strong.
Very cool. Well, Justin Stang, thank you so much for talking with us on Country Fried Rock today.
Thank you, Sloan. I appreciate it greatly, and it was awesome getting a chance to chat.
Absolutely. Best to you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Country Fried Rock, music uncovered. Find our full playlist at countryfriedrock.org. You can subscribe to our weekly podcast on iTunes. Just search Country Fried Rock. Our theme music is from The Heap. Check them out at heapdeluxe.com. That's HEAPDELUXE. Our Country Fried Rock stinger is from Steve Soto and the Twisted Hearts. Country Fried Rock. Copyright 2013 by Lily Pad Productions. All rights reserved. Country Fried Rock is a partnership with the nonprofit Florence Regional Arts Alliance. Your donations to this program are tax deductible to the extent you are eligible under U.S. law. Country Fried Rock radio programs are distributed to public radio through the Public Radio Exchange, prx.org.
Ever he been helping us some country fried rock.